And your last piece of literature for this week is actually a full-length documentary. And this you're going to approach a little bit differently, but you've read a lot of fiction about robots and AI. And we want to be thinking about how, this fiction, these foundations of these ideas in the post-war era, how we can relate to them or apply them or interpret them in our world today. And for that, I have given you AlphaGo. Now, AlphaGo is a documentary that came out in 2017, and it follows the story of the technological developers that were developing this piece of artificial intelligence called AlphaGo. So for context, one of the tests of, how advanced a piece of artificial intelligence is for a long period of time has been how well it tests against human, or how well it does against humans at various tests that we assume require human meaning, that we require human thought. So for example, one of the first of these tests was, can a computer beat the world's best chess player? Because chess is a very, sort of intellectual game that requires experience. And in 1997, Deep Blue from IBM beat the world's best chess player. So then in 2011, an AI machine called the Watson computer beat Ken Jennings, who is the best Jeopardy champion of all time. And just for clarification, you may be thinking like, well, it's a trivia game. Google exists. Like, of course, how hard would it be for AI to beat those sorts of things? And if you don't know, Jeopardy is actually a very there's an interpretive strategy to it. So the clues are written in a very sort of cryptic and figurative way it takes practice to pick up on. And in 2011, the Watson supercomputer beat Ken Jennings at Jeopardy. And so then the next sort of feat, again, to the next step in doing something that humans had never done or going further than they had before, was whether or not an AI could beat a human at the game Go. Go is an ancient board game, considered probably one of the most complicated board games, and not one of, it is the most complicated board games in the world. And for a long time, people believed that it would never be possible for AI, or it was a long way in the future that AI would be able to beat a world champion at Go. And so you are following the team that is trying to develop this technology, leading up to their match against Ken Sedol. Now, instead of adding annotations as you go, you're welcome to do that, but this is a film, so I would prefer you to just be able to watch that and take in the story like it's meant to be consumed. So you are only required to respond to my questions. However, the things that we are looking at in this film is not only the development of technology in the real world, and I mean, this is only 8 years ago, what the development of technology looks like in this film compared to that sort of fictional speculation about it, but also, I mean, in a span of 8 years, how far it has come. The technology that was used to create AlphaGo was the concept of a neural network and machine learning. And the concept of a neural network and machine learning is what is behind large language models today. That's what fueled what has now become ChatGPT. And the speed with which we have made progress in those things is an interesting thing to think about. Now, as you're watching, I want you to think about the human emotion and relationships and identity that we've been talking about in all of these stories with these real people. You have these scientists, developers, engineers who are trying to do something that's never been done. There's a very human want to root for them. And I think that you absolutely do. But by the same token, you also have a very human want to maintain that creator-created relationship in being better at a machine, at something. And in the culmination of the story, I don't want to spoil anything, but as you get towards the climax of the story, I want you to think about how the human reaction to AlphaGo's success, how we feel about that. Do you feel sympathetic towards the developers, when they lose, do you feel sympathetic towards Kins at all when he struggles? What is your reaction to Kins at all's feelings about it? Those are the things that I'm interested to hear from you all. Again, you're not required to leave any annotations other than answers to my questions, but you are welcome to if you would like to do so. And I look forward to seeing what you all think about this real life robots and AI story in AlphaGo.